Uh, ta-da! I couldn't even change my background today. It wouldn't let me load new pictures into the background. So whether that's a change or not, I don't know. But that's why I'm using a different view of Earth today. This is one of the standard ones. So cool. Okay, we're now recording.
You're not recording yet. You have to hit continue. Hit the continue button.
No, he's recording.
No, it says it's recording here.
That continues for you, Larry.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Aha, the door fauna is back.
Just one other thing I'd like to mention is that we are going to have a tips and tricks for the next meeting, which Mike Stanos is going to talk about focusing. And, we'll probably have more discussion on this as well as far as changing the format.
Okay, Bill.
Yes.
Also, maybe in January, late January or beginning of February, I shouldn't be quite as busy, and I'd be willing to run, a short workshop or something on GIMP.
That'd be good.
That would be interesting to me because GIMP is not the easiest thing to use right off the bat.
I'm sorry, AJ, I didn't catch. What were you going to discuss?
I'd be willing to do something on GIMP.
Oh, okay, Tim.
GIMP for beginners or something like that.
Cool.
Yeah.
We'll get it together.
Let us know what dates work for you, AJ, and we can schedule that. Is that a short thing, or are you suggesting we do a longer tutorial?
No, I could do something short. I don't think, because it is kind of intimidating if you've never used it before. I think just something very short that would be just some basic tools.
Okay. Cool.
So not more than 20 minutes, probably.
Okay. That sounds like a plan.
Good. We can go more than 20 minutes as far as I'm concerned.
Well, we could do follow-ups, I would think.
Okay.
All right. That sounds good. Thanks for that offer, AJ. That's good. Okay. Anything else?
My request for a session sometime on histograms would be, I'd like to reiterate that one.
Okay.
Sounds like some YouTube videos you're going to get from me.
Yep. Okay. Histograms are good. Cool. All right. Time for photos. Let's see what I can do here. There we go. Okay. Was that the first? Let's have a look. Yep. Okay. You guys seeing that?
No. White screen.
Seeing
There
it?
we go.
There we go.
I still don't get this to work the way I expect it to. I have to bring Zoom back into the foreground in order to show it. Okay, anybody laying claim to this one?
I like it.
Audio.
Who are you talking to, Susan?
And he just turned off his audio.
Okay, I'm here. I'm here. Yeah, that's mine.
Okay. Talk to us, Tom.
Oh, well, it's a persimmon sitting on a sitting on a persimmon leaf. And I just thought the colors were really, really great. I just think it's really nice. And it's actually, when I took the original photograph, there were two, a pair of this image.
Mm-hmm.
And I finally decided that I liked it this way. And then it had been perfectly horizontal. So I put it on the diagonal to make it more to my liking.
And I like the way the leaf is framing the item there.
What was your f-stop?
Oh gosh, I'll find out for you.
Okay. Yeah, the top looks a little bit out of focus.
Oh,
The top
yeah,
of the
it sure
persimmon.
does.
And
Yeah.
if you were using a larger aperture, then if you would go to a smaller one, increase the f-stop, it might help with that.
Uh-huh.
It's very pretty.
Yeah. And I love the texture on the leaf.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
It's
beautiful.
been sprayed with gold.
The leaf almost looks like it's ceramic.
Mhm.
It does. It really does.
Yeah, I like this a lot. I like the leaf is fantastic. I find it very dissonant that the top isn't sharp because that's where my eye wants to go. My eye wants to be in here, and then it's fuzzy, and so I keep being dragged back over here, which is sharp and bright. But nice arrangement, nicely seen. I think I might beg you to, next time you shoot, maybe do you might need to focus stack to get it sharp all the way through if you're working close. But I think that would be an interesting take on it. But the colors, as you say, are spectacular, and the leaf is amazing. Very good.
Thank you.
Anything else for Tom?
Gorgeous.
Okay. Let me.
Ooh.
Nice.
Who's laying claim to this one?
Area. It's in the Greek Isles, taken from a boat as we were passing it. Fair amount of chopping and cutting the sides, and tried to keep it so that you get the feeling of the peninsula rocks on the right that is moving with the background mountains. So there's a sense of movement, but basically that's it.
Very nice.
Beautiful.
Looks good. Is it my imagination, or is the horizon slightly tilted? That would be a take. The building maybe slightly too. Needs to go that way to me a bit. Nicely seen though. I mean, it looks good.
Lovely.
Very, very pretty.
Anybody else?
Yeah. There's one thing that I tend to use quite a bit in Photoshop Elements is haze removal, where it'll bring a little more depth into the blues in the background. Yeah, it's because I see that there's some clouds out there, but they kind of melt into the sky. And if you have something that has haze removal on it, you just may want to try it, just to maybe just grab a little more of those blues.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, it might make that pop a little bit more.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it fits the rule of thirds pretty well too, because that large rock and building on the right side is kind of in the right position.
Right.
Did you do any post-processing on this, Gary?
Yes, mostly in cropping and some coloration too. Obviously sharpened it a little bit. It was handheld from a boat, so it was a little
right.
Yeah, perfect.
Cool.
Pretty.
That one's mine. When I originally took this, it was centered right in the center of the photo, and so in keeping in mind, the composition rules, I tried to move it and rework it a little bit. I think there should be two more
There are
pictures right after this that show what I attempted to do to see if I was catching on with the composition rules. So if you click on the next two, you'll see what my thinking was.
Hmm.
So that's where I applied the rule of thirds. And my goal, of course, was to get you to focus in on the yellow part of the flower. And then I on the next slide, or on the next photo, I started playing around a little bit with the golden spiral. And I thought this one actually fell into that category pretty well. So that was my thinking. I took an old photo. Oh, go ahead.
I also see a nice diagonal with the leaves through the flower, through the stamen or pistil.
Yes. Yeah, I think I had done one with diagonal too. But you know, I think it enhanced it a lot because originally it was right smack in the middle of the photo.
Do you have that one there, AJ, where it is in the middle, or no? Okay, I was just curious to look at the difference. But yeah, you're right. You know, being on the third there makes it. I can't say what the first one had, but it really works for me here.
Did you try to crop in so close that you just had the flower, you know, just the white, the red, and the yellow? Yeah, to go really, really deep into it. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't try that.
Yeah. Like, oh, disappeared.
Okay.
I'm not sure how much the left side brings into it. And I'm just wondering to go to the other extreme, of getting right in there.
Filling the frame with the flower?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. That's good thought. I'll try that.
So to me, AJ, the thirds is perfect. You know, oops, hang on, let me just do that. There we go. The thirds are perfect because you've positioned it really, really well. I might argue for it moving up a tut so that the PowerPoint we get right into the yellow. But I find the, hang on, let me do this one again. I find this one doesn't work as well for me because if you were going to follow the spiral, then you're effectively taking me out of the picture. So you take me from something that is interesting here, and then I sort of go out here and out to the wilderness, as it were. So I find that one less effective, but the thirds one is perfect.
Yeah, well, I didn't really know whether this one fit all that well, but I was experimenting around to see what my compositions looked like.
Yeah, and those of you who are Lightroom users, that has all the options in there. You can pull many different ones and flip them both horizontally and vertically, and it can help. But this is always the one that I have the most trouble with. I rarely find images that that the golden ratio works for. For me, maybe it's just my perception.
Graham?
Yeah.
Now, with this, the golden spiral, does it always go from the tightest and then go away?
Or, I believe so.
Yeah.
Yeah, some people might think of it as it's starting out to the left and spiraling into the center. So does it have a direction to it?
Well, you can flip it, but to me, you know, this is the focal point. I mean, to me, there's nothing out here that would make me start there. So the theory is that the eye is going to follow this path. But again, as I said, this is one of the ones that I have a lot of difficulty with. I rarely find images that work like that. Now, if you were going to crop in on this one, AJ, and go for, was it Bill suggested going into the flower, then I think you might find there's something more in here for the golden ratio.
Yeah. Okay.
To me. but it's a nice shot. Nicely done.
Thank you.
Where are your overlays coming from? Is this GIMP?
No, I did that in Photoshop.
Oh, in Photoshop. Okay. All right. Cool. All right. Any other feedback for AJ?
Thank you for showing it to us that way.
Were you asking AJ, Helen?
I just said thank you for showing us.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah. Well, I ended up doing it so that I could kind of visualize it myself.
Right.
And once I did, I thought it might be useful to see it that way. That's why I included it.
Yeah, I find that particularly when you're starting off and you can't visualize this stuff without an overlay, putting an overlay on there is really useful. And then the ability to switch through them. And sometimes when I'm doing that, you know, you put one up there and you think, oh yeah, if I move it or I crop it or I amend it just a little bit,
yeah,
then you do it and you can see the difference. And sometimes it's quite marked. It's non-trivial when you just make a small adjustment. Sometimes. So thanks for that, AJ. That was a good thought to do that.
Wow.
Mine again.
Gary, that you?
Kind of obvious here, I guess. I'm just trying to show a rose in my garden, and got it late enough in the season that the bees were all over it, and centered the focus on the flower, obviously, which made everything else blurry, which was purposeful.
And the detail on the bees is great.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Nicely done on this. You got the whole of the flower, everywhere that's important is sharp, and then the rest is supporting the image beautifully.
Right.
Nicely done.
Very good.
What lens did you use, Gary?
It's just a Kodak point and shoot type of thing.
Oh, really?
Wow.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Wow. That's amazing. That looks excellent. Nicely done.
And the only other thing possibly is to make it a square and maybe get rid of the left.
The green leaf on the left?
Yeah, because
it does kind of pull your eye away from the flower.
Yeah. And how sharp those two bees are, I want to keep my eye on them.
Yeah, definitely.
I don't want them biting me.
Beautiful.
Thing with the square, that I tried a couple different croppings, and if I went to the square, it sort of put the flower back in the center of the picture more. And I wanted to try to keep it off.
And it might be the bees might be on the thirds.
I like the way it's cropped. I think the leaf in the left part of the photo out of focus adds a little bit of depth to the photo. It to me, it makes the flower actually pop a little bit more.
Yeah, I like the framing too. I don't find that too distracting because it's darker, it's less contrasty, and it's a lot less sharp. So as Mike says, it does give you that sense of depth. The other thing I like is I like the way you've led down with the stalk. Nicely done. Good job. I like that a lot, Gary.
Really good.
Great.
Okay, any owner?
That's mine. I was trying the thirds, and I don't know if I got it. Is there a grid? I like the idea of putting a grid on it, but I don't know how to do that.
While you're taking the picture, you mean, or?
No, while I'm showing it.
Oh, okay.
Hang on.
What software do you use, Larry?
Well, I'm right now I'm using just what's in the box on Microsoft, but I bought Elements and I'm trying to fight my way through that. So I didn't quite make the lines, but Yeah.
Yeah.
So thirds.
Yeah, so those are the series of overlays that you see in Lightroom. I just hopped into develop into the develop module and chose crop, and then those are the overlays.
Okay.
So yeah, I think if you were going for the thirds, what were you trying to put on the third, Larry?
Well, each one of the posts I thought were
Okay.
almost thirds. So
Yeah, in my mind, what I try to do with the thirds is rather than split it with posts like that, would be to choose the thing that I want as the focal point and then put it on a third. And actually, if you can put it on 2/3, you know, where the lines intersect, that's known as the PowerPoint. So I would, like the flower earlier, the white flower, AJ's flower, where the yellow was on that intersection of the 2/3, the horizontal and the vertical, it has much more impact. So on this one, I would have chosen what you wanted to be on the third very precisely and then gone for that, either in taking the image or in post. And then to me, you know, do that and then, you know, decide what you want to visualize your image when you're taking, if you can.
right.
Doesn't always work like that. And then, you know, work to that and then think about depth of field, think about, you know, the technical aspects, and then do your border patrol. In this one, you're okay, but, you know, and sometimes those things become important. But I think good job for going out and trying.
Yeah.
Were you on a tripod, Larry?
No, handheld.
Might have helped you here because I'm not. Where do you think was the point of focus?
Well, there's not really much of a point of focus in this.
Well, this looks sharper down here,
Yeah.
to me than this does up here. So again, I'm going light and so on. And actually, you know, there might be a nice picture down here within the water rather than within the main, you know, the actual item itself.
Right.
But I think you're thinking in the right way. So hang at it. It'll all come together. You know, and if you find, I often come back and I'm despairing. I went to Duke Forest. They stopped shooting deer in Duke Forest, so I went and started. I'm part of the group there that does photography for that, or I've just joined it. And I went wandering around there, but I decided I'd go just with my iPhone and try and get the lay of some of the land. There's 7,000 acres there. And it was interesting. So I could go and pre-visualize some stuff, and then I will go back and shoot. But I didn't try and do it all at once. I wanted to get the lay of the land and see what there was that was worth shooting, and then I'll go back, he said. And sometimes, you know, when you pre-visualize this stuff, it all comes together. But often I come back and I go, oh, okay, that's the best you can do. But I like the way you're thinking, and you're going out and doing stuff, and that's good. It'll all come together one day, and you'll go, ooh, or we'll go, ooh.
That's right.
I'm also wondering if, because the bottom is really intriguing. I'm wondering if you cut it off at the, like, left the bench part off and just saw the posts and then the reflection, what that would look like.
I think
you know
that'd be
saying? In other words,
try.
cut off the bench and start with the posts and then have the reflection. I wonder what that would look like.
Yep, I'm with you.
Yeah.
Definitely worth a try. Any
Okay,
other
thanks.
feedback for Larry?
Appreciate it.
No.
I thought it would be interesting to see it in black and white.
Oh, there's a thought.
Yeah.
There's an interesting thought. Yep. That'd be worth a try too. Okay, good. Whoops. What did I do? There we go. Oh, hang on. I must have gone the wrong way here. Hang on, I've done something odd here. Oh, I see what I've done. There we go. Okay.
Interesting.
Interesting.
So that's mine. I don't know if there's any, thirds don't work on this, but I just liked it. And just the shadows and the light and the way it's gone. But
oh, I think your eye is spot on here, Larry. I love this one. I think.
Graham, the picture disappeared.
Yeah, it's not on there, Graham.
Hang on.
There
Is
it
that
is.
better?
so I just like the shadows and the light, and that was my ultimate thing. I'm not talking about composition as much, although I guess you could pick out almost anything in here.
Yeah. Well,
What is it?
I like the way all of the bands or whatever they are kind of like circulating around, but bringing you right back to that
The flat piece there.
flat piece there.
Yeah.
You know, they kind of like, work around it, but they bring your eye back into it again.
And the flat piece is on the third.
Yep.
Oh, is it? Oh, good. Thank. I got that.
That's it. Yeah, pretty much.
I knew that. I knew that.
I think this is nicely seen. I think there's a few, again, this is another one where, you might choose the framing a little differently, but there's a lot going for this. I really like what you saw, and I think it's a great job. Now, the bit where I think it could do better is on the technical aspects, where I don't see anything that's sharp in here at all. So that, to me, is what lets it down a little. But the patterns and the shapes and the seeing, fantastic. So I would say, Larry, work a bit more on that technical stuff, particularly sharpness. I think both the images that you've shown us today, you could do a bit more work on sharpness.
Yeah. See, that's the problem I have. I'm using I brought a 50 millimeter, and I had it on manual, and that's not really easy to work with in terms of sharpness. In getting it as sharp as possible, especially when you have sun behind you. It was really hard to see. So I took a whole bunch of these, and this was the most clear.
Okay. Do you use autofocus?
No.
Hey, I used to be really skeptical about all this automation. I was sort of a bit of a snob purist, and it was like, I hated live view when it came out. I hated autofocus when it came out. And then as I've got older, I've discovered that all of these things are are designed and invented in order to keep me able to take decent photographs. Because as I get older, I can't do it without them. But I would try autofocus. And I think Mike's going to do his session in January on focusing, and that might help you.
Yeah, that would. Because I'm on manual, so I'm basically
on manual focus.
Yes.
Well, it's the one where I do occasionally use manual focus, but mostly I'm a big fan of autofocus. It works, and it works really, really well. And there are a couple of little tricks. So the other thing that you find with autofocus is nowadays these cameras switch on, and they seem to think the name of the game is how many focus points can I give the photographer in the viewfinder, and so they go for hundreds and hundreds of the bloody things. And in fact, I turn all of that out and I do one. I set the center point, I focus, half hold the shutter, and then reframe it to where I want it. And I find, for me, that's the technique that works best. Now, you can't do that on a tripod, you have to do something different, but for handheld photography, that works really well. And the other trick, of course, is if you've got it focused and it's sharp, then get your shutter speed up to somewhere that will pretty much eliminate any shake whatsoever.
Yeah, that's another thing I have to learn. Yeah, right. To do that well. But I like using the 50 because it's fun. And
yeah.
I took Bill's class on, manual, so I'm trying to work with that.
Well, I would go on manual, but I would make an exception for autofocus. I would turn your autofocus on and stick to just manual aperture and ISO and shutter speed. Those are good place, and if you find eventually that you do want to go full manual, including focus, that's fine. But I'd always recommend taking a step at a time.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah, because I think this would be a wonderful photograph if the bit that you wanted sharp was sharp. So I love what you saw. It's great. Good job.
One thing I found, the joint on the upper left-hand corner makes the picture more interesting in one sense, but it keeps drawing my eye over to it.
This guy up here?
Flat part, yes.
Yeah.
It just keeps,
Well, I see what you're saying there. And again, in post-processing, when you get to want to do that, or that you could just darken that down a little and it wouldn't grab us so much. But nicely seen. I actually love this image. I think there's a lot in here, and it's really nicely seen. So your eye is working really well, Larry.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
What was it, Larry?
Yeah.
You're taking a picture.
This was a sculpture.
Oh, okay.
In the botanical garden.
Oh, right.
And I cropped it really close.
Right.
There's a little opening on the top left, you can see. I was trying to get the background out of there, and that's the best I could come up with. So, yeah, it was fun. I just saw it and I said, wow, this would look really good cropped. And I just took a few pictures and I was able to do that. So, yeah.
No, you're right, because sometimes, I've been to the botanical gardens and I'll take a picture of the whole sculpture, but then I'll zero in on just one small piece of it and get an interesting shot out of that.
Right. Yeah, Frank, that's what I tried to do. Yeah. Thank you.
Good job.
Another aspect on that too is you have a lot of curves, and then that one rectangular square piece, the lines. It's just an interesting combination of that composition too.
Right.
Yep.
I think you're onto something here.
Yeah. Maybe in 10 years I'll get it.
You'll get. You will.
Trying different things, yeah.
You'll get there.
Oh.
Okay, if it has anything to do with the beach, it must be me.
Yeah, it must be Bill, this.
Yeah, this was, I guess it wasn't last week, but the week before, when our roof was being put on the house, we decided to get away for that week. This is from Duck, overlooking the sound. I took advantage of somewhat the leading lines.
Yep.
As far as bringing from both sides into the center.
Yep.
As you can see on the docks there's so many seagulls that I didn't have to wait long to get one to be in the center between the two docks. What I did is I raised the horizon to be on the top third.
Okay.
I did the only thing that I did to this was straighten it. I did the haze reduction, and the crop that I did was to the top left. I had the sun up there originally, and it was just blown out. So just by taking that out of there and raising the a little bit, I got on that top third.
Oh, great.
That's a really impressive depth of field on this.
It is.
And again, it's like I think the last challenge we had, the darkness in the foreground here kind of leads you up toward that opening.
Right.
Has a very peaceful feel to it too. With that.
I like that you captured the seagull right between the two
Right.
elements there.
I waited for him.
Yeah.
Sure it's not Photoshop, Bill?
No, I'm not that smart.
Nicely done.
I only know how to do like 3 or 4 things. You know, straighten it, crop it a little bit, haze reduction, and off it goes.
I really like the picture, and then also I'm looking at it, and then all of a sudden I realize on the right side, in front of the pier, there's that blue that's a reflection.
Mm-hmm.
And that kind of makes it even more, I don't know what the word is, complex, or anyway, I just find that interesting too. It's like you're looking at it and then all of a sudden you realize that's there too.
Yeah, and this one was like 2 o'clock in the afternoon. It was very cloudy most of the day, and it was just that things were starting to break up there.
Bill, this reminds me of the photograph you put in a couple of weeks ago that I just absolutely loved, and this one is the same. And it has to do with the way the foreground is in a abstract. It feels very abstract, and then it bleeds up into this perfectly crystal, realistic image. It works in this photograph, and it worked in that last one that you did, even more in the last one.
Yeah, this is a very powerful photograph. What lens did you use?
Okay, now I have to fess up.
Yeah.
This is my $50 Samsung cell phone.
Amazing.
No kidding. That's amazing.
Yeah. Hey, they all count.
That accounts for the depth of field.
The best camera is the one that's with you.
Good job.
It's amazing what the cell phones do now.
Yep. Nicely done. Okay.
Oh, that one is mine, and it's an iPhone picture too.
Oh, okay.
Taken at Briar Chapel on my walks, and all of a sudden, this group of women came through on their bikes, and then when I cropped it later, I said, "Oh, there's a diagonal. I can use it for this class, for today." So,
yeah.
I like a little bit of blur on the subject. It implies motion.
Right. Yeah, there's movement in there.
It really wasn't, because it was the iPhone, I didn't really make any decisions about what I was shooting, and but I rather liked it when I got through, actually.
Mm-hmm. Well, you've got the red in there.
Mm-hmm.
Color.
Talk about composition, you've got red. Red's always great. It's just going to drag the eye.
Yeah.
Works really well.
Oh, very good.
So I have another one. It's got more.
The lighting's beautiful on that. What time of day was it? Probably morning.
Actually, no, I don't think so. I think it was actually maybe even early afternoon or something, because it was a real mess. I mean, it didn't come out of the, iPhone really very well in terms of the exposure. So I stuck it in photos, and then I moved it over to photo elements, trying to recoup some contrast, something, which is why it has that rather yellow tone to it. I don't know that it really even was that way initially. It's just that it was the only way I could get the subject to pop out a little bit.
Well, it works.
It does.
Nicely seen, or grabbed.
Good work.
This is an entrance to a walking path at Briar Chapel.
Oh, all right.
And I like the color, and I tried to do thirds. I'm not sure. It's a little to the right, but maybe not quite enough. And I did lighten it a little bit. I cropped it and tried to get the path leading in.
Yep.
Was
that
important.
worked. The path does pull me right up into the center of the picture there.
What is the significance of the stuff at the top, Bob?
I don't know. I just, I tend to drive around and look for spots, and I was just driving, to Briar Chapel, to that area, and saw that on the right, and I thought, boy, that'd be a cool picture.
Cool.
It is.
Yep. Yep.
I've never been over there. They have some nice trails on Briar Chapel.
Well, yeah, I don't live there. Yeah, they've got some awesome trails.
Yeah.
And you're allowed to walk out, even though you don't live in Briar Chapel.
I think you could park where Breakaway is, and
right, and then walk up.
And just this is not very far from that parking lot at Breakaway.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I wonder if that would be something to add to the listing of places to shoot.
Yep.
Oh, I bet.
Definitely, because I'd like to know more about that area. I haven't been over there.
Yeah, there's other parking places too, where like a construction area a little further in, and there's a small parking lot near that, and that gets you onto all the bike trails. There's many bike trails which you can walk, up the hill and roundabout, and there's even a map on one of the kind of side of the road posters or something. It's a little out of date.
All right.
But if anyone wants to contact me about walking by Briar Chapel, I'm very happy to do that. Cool. And I think Ace is, I always see him there too. So several of us can tell you
many trails
where to go and where you can get lost.
Want to find out about that? I can easily get lost.
Yeah.
And post-COVID, or even during mask time, that would be great to do a sort of a grouping and have people shoot and discover what they're shooting at and what the camera speeds are, et cetera, et cetera. So it's a learning experience.
Right. No, looks interesting. I'm going to add it onto that list then.
Good.
Okay, good job.
Oh, pretty.
Wow.
At the beach. This was at Duck again. What was really kind of strange was one of the nights I looked out of the windows over the ocean, and I saw this whole line of fishing boats. There must have been anywhere between 15 and 20 of them down the coast. And I decided I was going to go out there and try to photograph them, but it never really worked out that well. But what I found out by mistake is that I was able to get a lot of the stars.
Yeah.
So this thing kind of actually, this is just trying to learn how to do this stuff, but what I found out that I have in front of me here is my foreground, which is the flagpole and the deck. My midground I have out there is the ships, the fishing ships. We're out there for days. And then it kind of moves to the background, which is the stars.
Nice. Very nice.
And I think what Kathy had mentioned on posting on Facebook was that I got the constellation Orion, which it would have been Ryan. If I knew that.
Ryan, yeah.
But this was just kind of like, I guess my first real shot at trying to, do this kind of photography. I don't know how I could ever get those ships in a way really clear, but maybe they don't have to. But it's amazing how much showed up in the photograph that I don't think I saw with my eyes.
Yeah, especially the stars. You can see a white view up there.
And this is a single image, Bill?
Yes.
Wow, there's a heck of a range of dynamic range in this.
That shot with your Samsung?
No.
Didn't think so.
That was a D850. Yeah, that D850 is, and I had the D800E as well. And both of them, it's just amazing the detail that you can capture. And even like with Frank and I were out last night trying to do great conjunction or whatever it was. It's just some of the things that came up on a photograph I didn't see when I was.
Is that Mars at the tip of the pole?
Nah, no. That's actually just the tip of the pole.
It's a carbon star. Could look at this thing forever. It's really beautiful. The only thing that I would like to see gone would be that little building that's beyond the base of the flagpole.
Oh, I like that.
Well, there you have it.
Yeah, I think you probably need that to anchor it and give the sense of depth in my mind, Tom. But I see what you're saying. Cool.
And again, this is not an area of photography that I am very interested in, but it was just kind of shocking that, you know, what I learned just by trying something new is interesting.
Very good.
Very nice, Bill.
Oh, this is mine, Betty. Speaking of something new, composition-wise, I didn't have any choice because I was playing with trying to get my birds from this year into a collage that I could use for, you know, kind of an email Christmas card thing. And this seemed to be the only thing I could find that even held this many birds or whatever. Anyway, it's my Christmas card to you guys as well. Happy holidays.
Thank you.
You.
May the birds all come to our feeders this year.
Right.
I love the grosbeak.
Yeah, that was a real surprise this year. I'd never seen one of those, or the red-winged blackbird up in the corner. I'd never seen one of those up close either.
Now,
what composition? I don't know.
Betty, what software did you use, or what card stock was this?
No, this is just a collage in Photoshop Elements.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah,
very good.
Works really well.
Yeah.
If anyone has any good collage software that they're using, I've got Collage Factory, but it doesn't have any of these nice little circles, you know, the kind of, I wanted something other than just squares. So if anyone's got something that they've used that has this, please let me know. That would be useful.
Yes, some of these tend to be very confusing and make your eye jump all over the place, but I really like this one. It's very well organized.
Yeah, great image.
Nice. No, you should be proud of that one.
I like it. It's really cheerful. You know, it certainly needed something cheerful for the card this year. So I thought it worked out pretty well, really.
That is great.
It's a nice color balance too, where you have the different colors spaced out.
Good job, Betty.
This is mine. And actually it's sort of weird because you know how something should tell a story? Well, this tells a story, but nobody else would know it. And that is when I look out my front window, I see the pond and it's all gray and, you know, winter colors. And then for some reason there was this maple growing. And so I decided I had to photograph it. So when I look out my window, I see this one red thing out there.
Yeah. Sweet gum. It's a sweet gum, I think.
Oh, it is? Okay, it's not maple. Okay. All right. Yeah, that makes sense because I've got a ton of sweet gums.
Yeah, the leaves look similar, but I agree it's a sweet gum, but it really catches the eye.
Yeah.
It stands out because of that dark, drab background.
Yep. And the red. The red always helps. But it's a perfect example of shooting for the foreground and letting the whole background go away and frame it. It works really well.
Also,
I really like the cascade, the line, the cascading line that runs right through the center of the photograph.
also, it looks like there's two birds there if you look on the right with the leaves. Especially one of the leaves looks like a bird. Oh.
That's
Very
very
good.
clever, right? Yeah.
Great.
Aha.
Oh, nice.
That's mine. Last year, I decided to start looking for interesting arrangements of ornaments in our Christmas tree and shooting it in the dark at night.
Right.
And decided to do that again this year, except I used a tripod and then played around with the in the dark. It's really the camera wants to go to a very large aperture, and so I started playing with the aperture. And this is a f10 and about 200 ASA and about a 10-second exposure. But I took a bunch of different settings, and this one, the depth of field was enough so the little looks like a old world toy card, and the straw horse seemed to be in good focus.
Yeah.
It's a self-portrait too.
I like how I can see the photographer too.
Right.
Yeah.
All the
I next time I should use my phone or put the camera on a timer on the tripod and then step out of the way. You'd still see the camera and the tripod, but not me.
Oh, it's good. That's worked really well.
Yeah.
Another
I
one.
also was surprised at the, and I think it's more prominent with a longer exposure, but kind of like the stars,
Yes.
Right.
on the individual lights just seemed to come out this year.
Right.
Yeah, definitely.
Works really well. Excuse
Something
me.
I like is, of course, is looking at that one ornament to the left of the photo, the ornament with it's like a little picture with a tree on it.
Yeah.
It took my eye right over there, because I look at it and say, all right, what's he looking at? And yeah, he's looking at a nice
Oh, the horse.
Yeah.
I hadn't noticed that. Thanks, Frank.
Yeah, that's great.
Nicely
It's
done.
interesting how the light has blended into the tree, the limbs too. It's kind of nice balance and kind of a soft light, focusy almost. If you could say the light itself isn't focused, but it's an interesting effect, a nice effect.
Definitely.
Yeah, the colors, the different colored lights. I like how when the lights are, there was a little bit of light in the room, as you can see in the reflection of the photographer, but the lights were really low, and so I think the color of the lights really is interesting to see how the red colors the needles red and the green and the yellow.
Right, definitely.
Cool.
I like the sharpness. It's really, I like that.
Thank you.
Would you say, Mike, you had it on F10?
Yeah, this is a f10, about a 10-second exposure on a Canon 5D with a 24 to 70 lens.
Okay, nice.
Good job. Definitely good job. Okay.
Nice.
This is nice.
Very nice.
Looks like a painting.
Anybody laying claim?
Oh,
I can't remember whose this was.
yeah. I'd like to find out where that was taken.
It's a good example where the road leads you in and the way it curves.
Yeah, right.
Goes around behind the tree, I think. It's lovely.
Yep. I guess this is a phone photograph. It looks a little grainy, as though it's a small sensor at high ISO. But it works in this instance. It gives the image some atmosphere.
Yeah. Yeah, kind of pulls you off into that fog in the back.
Mm-hmm. Yep. All right. Nobody's laying claim. Then let's.
Okay, that's mine. I took this on Monday. I panicked because I didn't have anything for this meeting. So I took my camera and walked around the village, and I wanted to, I've done it with thirds and leading lines, and I wanted to try some framing, frame within a frame. So I took this one, and I like the way the door frames the two wreaths on there. You've got the two poles on each side, although I had to crop off the one on the right side a little more than I had wanted to. But and then you've got the tree around the top and the circular piece on top of it. So I just wanted to experiment with that, and that's all I was focusing on at that point. So, and this is what the best one that I had come up with.
Oh,
like the branches on the top.
Yeah, I do too.
Yeah, this is that garden house down there in the inn. I guess when they have weddings, they have cocktail parties or whatever inside there. And there was a nice fire inside there that day in the fireplace, but I tried to block it out as much as I could. I didn't want it taken away from the two wreaths on the door.
good.
The only thing I wish I could have gotten out of there with the signs, but that would take a lot of work.
So the only thing I would have you think about, Frank, is darkening this bottom bit down here.
Right.
So that this is dragging me down and I want to be in.
Yeah, I made the mistake of going down in the afternoon, and that sun, the sunlight was just too harsh.
Right.
So I might try and go back toward the evening or first thing in the morning and try it again.
That'd be cool.
Or a cloudy day.
Yeah, because it was a beautiful blue sky, and it was just the worst time to go out.
Right. Yep. Good job, though. Aha.
Oh, nice.
Oh, pretty. That's mine, Helen. This one I sent in, I guess. I wanted to ask you, you've talked about what to do about the columns on each side. If you get it level, the lens, the distortion. And I wanted to ask, is there anything that can be done to in post-processing that would have corrected that?
Yeah. Depends on what you're using. Again, I'll talk to Lightroom because I'm familiar with it, but you can actually correct for that. And my guess is that you were looking slightly up at it, so it looks as though it's leaning away, and that's certainly correctable. What do you use, Helen, for post-processing?
Right now, I'm using what's in Windows. I'm going to go on and get Photoshop Elements.
Right. I don't know that well enough. I don't know that at all, actually. But if there's a perspective correction, that's what I would look for here. Is
perspective correction.
Yeah.
I think GIMP has that.
Okay.
Perspective correction.
Okay. What I was wondering, does Photoshop Elements have it?
I don't know the answer. Is Bill still here?
There's a thing called skew. You can kind of drag it to the left or to the right, and it'll kind of make everything straight.
Okay.
Affinity definitely has it.
Yay, Infinity. Oh, Affinity.
Yep.
You don't recognize that. That's the bell tower.
Oh.
Beautiful.
Beautiful. was wondering where it was.
Love the
really cool.
reflections on the ceiling inside.
Yep. This works really well. I like it a lot.
If I can just correct for that, I think it's a pretty shot, but
Yep.
I liked the shadows, the lines they make. Liked everything about it, except I couldn't get those doggone columns
Right.
without being way up. I just couldn't get them. And then I wouldn't have gotten that blue ceramic tile
Right.
at the top
Helen,
of the vault.
do you use an iPhone?
That's a Canon.
But do you use an iPhone?
Yeah.
Because iPhone has perspective correction in the little photo app,
Huh.
and I've never tried like emailing a picture to the iPhone and then opening it in the photo app, but that has perspective correction. And interestingly, the photo app on the Mac doesn't, which is awfully weird.
Interesting. But that's really good. I like this a lot. It's very nice, Helen.
Thank you.
Okay, we're doing here.
That is also mine. That is a Corinthian column cap at the Lewis Round Library. And I started out with a lot of the column itself, and then decided it had to go. I liked the lines in this. Of course, nothing is quite clear. Whenever I shoot anything, it's not going to be clear until I have something done about my eyes. But I just liked the circular. There's movement in there, and yet it's static because of the circular lines.
Lots of detail in there. I like it.
It is.
It looks a little soft, but that might be because did you say it was a big crop?
Yeah, it's a big crop, and
Okay.
you just have to excuse my eyes. I cannot get anything clear.
Right.
I don't know if I was using autofocus or not. I've given up and started using that because I can't get it. I just can't see right now, and they don't know why. It's real.
Yeah.
But I was able to frame up the bottom arc and the top arc, and it seemed to work.
It works well.
It does.
Visually, it works very well.
It looks nice. I wonder, what do you all think about if they didn't have that horizontal piece at the very top above the top arc, if it was to end just at the very top of the crown, so to speak?
Yeah. Crown molding up there.
Yeah, I like I said, I cropped it every way for Christmas. It says Lewis Round, whatever, right above that, and I tried taking the words out and leaving more of that. I tried cropping it a lot of different ways, and I can. I'm still going to keep playing with that one. My spot fix didn't work very well, getting all of the letters out. So. But I'm going to play with that one more and more.
Yep.
Yeah, there's a lot of curves, and then at the very top you got that straight line. That's the only straight line in the whole thing. So it's an accent or a distraction, depending on how you look at it, I guess.
And Helen, what library was that taken at?
That's Lewis Round at the old library on campus at UNC.
Wilson Library.
Yeah, Lewis Round Wilson, yeah. I guess it was the graduate library when I was there in 1970. So I don't know what it is now. I remembered those columns for 50 years, and I went expressly for that yesterday. So that's pre-visualizations, 50 years old, pre-visualization.
There you go.
Yeah.
Very good. Well, I think that might be it. It is.
Oh,
Good ones this week.
Okay. Good job, everybody.
I
I regret not joining you sooner. I was visiting and walking and then finally realized. But thank you for all of you guys' input and ideas. It's good, good info. Good work, good photos.
Very good.
Good job all around. Any final views, closing comments, issues?
Have a joyous holiday.
Right, yeah, everybody have a happy holiday.
Yep, no getting drunk.
No.
Oh, why not?
A little drunk.
Well, I shall certainly be consuming considerable amounts of wine, given that we've got nothing else to do.
Right.
So, yeah. Okay, folks. So have a good Christmas and Happy New Year. We'll see you.
Okay.
I think it's the 5th.
Happy New Year.
5th, yeah, that's what I have on my notes, yeah.
That sounds about right. Okay.
Great.
Good job,
Bye.
folks.
Be well.
Take care.
Merry Christmas.
Bye.